If you're out there shopping for a Toyota Camry, this is the video for you. I got some details for you on some known problems with it already for the 2026 and 2025 model years. This is a newer, slightly used vehicle at the time of this filming. Now, this is the new generation Toyota Camry. I think it's quite good with the powertrain that you get for the money and the fuel economy, hybrid only, good performance, good fuel economy. That doesn't mean it hasn't had some recalls, technical service bulletins, and owner complaints with that new Camry. Hey, it's Tim from publisher of We Talk Cars. Let's get the details for it on our website, wetalkcars.com. 3 words, We Talk Cars. Really simple. That's what we do there. Ha! We Talk Cars. So we have known problems, hybrid system warnings, electrical complaints, and early recalls on this. And it is quite alarming to have these many issues from Toyota that has a good amount of reliability behind it as far as reputation. But had some issues with this Camry so far. And again, this is a good vehicle. It's one of the best-selling sedans in the country. Not all these problems will apply to your vehicle, but just things you need to be aware of if you're out there shopping for one or if you're out there looking for a used one. Keep these in mind. So it was redesigned in 2025, hybrid-only powertrain, updated cabin technology, and a completely redesigned exterior and interior. All right. So we looked at NHTSA.gov data, online forums, carcomplaints.com, car consumer reports, and put it all together. So the big issue is hybrid system warnings. Electrical complaints are appearing early. Now, this makes sense, right? So the hybrid system is a battery that works with the engine, and a lot more software, a lot more technology into this. And so you're going to have some early systems work out the kinks with that together. This is not a new system for Toyota. They have built hybrid systems for years. This is not a new thing for the company, but it looks like they have some early issues with this type of setup. So one of the most discussed concerns that involved redesigned Camry centers around hybrid warnings. There's been some owners reporting hybrid malfunction warnings, no start conditions, warning lights appearing suddenly, electrical communication errors, vehicle shutdown concerns, battery-related warnings. In one report, he said the hybrid system warning message came out while driving on the highway. He later told that the dealership diagnostics team, they pointed toward the fuel system-related trouble codes. Additional owner discussions describe intermittent software glitches and warning messages that sometimes disappear after restarting the vehicle. The total number of complaints remains relatively low so far, but remember, this is early days of this vehicle, so may keep an eye on this. May have some more issues as more vehicles get driven, more miles get on them, but so far, some early issues with this. Electrical infotainment glitches continue to frustrate owners. This happens quite a bit with newer vehicles. Frozen infotainment screens, Bluetooth connection problems, backup camera glitches, random dashboard warning lights, display lag, sensor communication errors. So a lot of this centers around the center screen here, and this is the new interior for the Camry. It's a combination of issues. Say your phone is an older phone. Maybe you haven't updated the phone in phone software. Maybe you haven't updated the vehicle software. There's always some connection issues there. Sometimes you have some laggy issues with the software and the screen that needs to be updated. Bluetooth connection issues plague the industry because like Android doesn't update great, or maybe Android doesn't update, or Apple doesn't update, and the software doesn't update the vehicle. Just keep that in mind. Those things do happen. Infotainment screen freezes. That happens at times too. It's just like your phone. You got to pull over or do the hard restart, turn the vehicle, turn it back on. That is frustrating while you're driving, though. Last thing you want to do is restart your vehicle like you would your phone or computer. But unfortunately, vehicles these days are a lot more like rolling computers than they are vehicles. So those things do happen. They do frustrate consumers. Backup camera freezing and going blank. We've seen that through all automakers. It's an issue. Backup cameras now are mandatory safety equipment. So I'm sure Toyota is going to work through the process of that. A lot of times there's like water getting in the wiring harnesses. It's been an ongoing issue for all automakers. It doesn't. So what I'm saying is these issues right here do not surprise me. I've been doing this job over 15 years, and I see this all the time, especially newer vehicles too. I see some early issues with this stuff. No matter what they do to troubleshoot this stuff before they launch it, no matter how many hundreds of miles they put on this stuff, no matter how many people they put behind the wheel, there's always going to be some issues here and there with different phones, different connections. I see this all the time. So I think they'll work through this next couple of years, and probably next couple of years, and then they'll get it solved. Then they'll have a new software update, somebody else, and it's just these are going to be ongoing issues that I don't think will ever get fully resolved, because there's always updates with your phones, updates with things. But you'll see this stuff happening. So just keep in mind that probably will happen. There's people having complaints with early drivability and eCVT complaints. So it doesn't have a standard transmission because it is a hybrid. And so it's more like a CVT where you kind of selects the gears for you and mimics the transmission. And so the reported issues are hesitation during acceleration, unusual drivetrain noises, jerky low-speed behavior, squeaking or whining sounds, and rough transitions between regenerative braking and acceleration. So regenerative braking means is when you come to a stop, or if you're slowing down, it'll use regenerative braking. So it'll apply brake force, and that braking will apply for you and recapture some of that braking to recharge the battery. That's regenerative braking. And so sometimes you hit the accelerator to turn off regenerative braking. So they're saying there's some rough transitions between that. And that's just a software play with that. So they'll accumulate more hours of data of people driving, and they'll try to identify what's going on there, and they'll update their software to reflect that. But yeah, regenerative braking is really great because if, let's say you're going down a hill, you take your foot off the accelerator, the vehicle will actually slow down a little bit better for you, more controlled, because it's using the regenerative braking to recapture some of the battery. And it actually is really nice and more pleasurable driving experience. But if you're going to go ahead and slam on the accelerator while in regenerative braking mode, you may have a rough transition as the vehicle's trying to understand what you want now. It's like you were slowing down, but now you're smashing on the accelerator. And so you're going to have those issues. There are different drive modes built into the vehicle. So you'll see that if you're like in full, e-saver mode or something like this, that slam on to drive like a sports car, you're going to have some weird transitions there. So keep that in mind. If you just drive normally, I doubt you have any issues, but you may have some that feel different to you as far as when you're going from a gas-only vehicle to a new hybrid vehicle. I'll see these complaints a lot. I've talked to a lot of owners when they make that switch, because a lot of people don't buy new cars maybe once in their life. And when they make that switch from an older used vehicle to a new vehicle, like a new hybrid vehicle, there is a learning curve there. And I think that's what's going on with this. There's not any recalls on that. There's not any TSBs on that. It's just owners are saying, hey, wait a minute, what's this doing? What's going on? So it's early complaints on that. So I think that's what you're saying. There's also been, though, multiple recalls for the redesigned Camry. We'll go through these. So a hybrid inverter recall, have improperly tightened bolt inside the hybrid inverter. That's a problem. There was something in the factory with that. So they recalled 51,000 Camrys to fix that bolt. That doesn't mean that all 51,000 had the bolt improperly installed. You're probably talking about 1,000 or something, but they want to inspect all of them and make sure all of them had the bolt installed properly. It could be just a torque issue. They didn't get the extra torque on that bolt. Blank instrument panel recall. This says some of these had the 12.3-inch instrument cluster can display a blank screen at startup and hide the speedometer, warning lights, that kind of stuff. So they had some sort of software issue with that. So they recalled those to download a new software. So here's what's happening is that instrument cluster is not the same as the infotainment screen. They have two different computer systems. So you can't just do over-the-air update with instrument cluster because that has speedometer and odometer built into it. And they don't want any over-the-air updates with that stuff, because then you could reset the odometer by yourself, which is illegal, or some hackers could take control of the vehicle and take over the steering wheel and take over the gas accelerator while you're driving. Both bad things. And so they have to update the instrument panel itself at the dealership, and they plug in OBD2 and do the software there. They don't do over-the-air updates and that stuff. The infotainment screen, they can do over-the-air updates because just the radio, navigation, that kind of stuff. So it's two different computer systems that are not connected at all. They're two separate systems. Rearview camera recall. Here we go. There's a recall for that rearview camera like I talked about earlier. And it can freeze, and so they're still working on that. I forgot that was there. And so there's also been several technical service bulletins. A technical service bulletin is not a recall. It's just basically telling technicians, if a customer walks in with a problem and says this, they can pull it up and they can diagnose what's going on. There's a false engine oil level low warning. If you go in the dealership, say this is going on, they'll pull up the document and has instructions what to do about this. Front brake squeal while reversing, the collapsed front seat outer bolster. So there's some technical service bulletins, how to address it, how to fix it for the technicians. Cold start misfire codes. You can check your VIN through Toyota or National Highway Traffic Safety Administration website and see what's going on. So the bottom line is the redesigned Camry still a safe bet? I would say it is. I think it's a great looking sedan. I think it's one of the most sporty sedans for Toyota and for the country. I mean, it's that or Honda. I mean, there's not many choices anymore. Chevy and Ford are both out. Dodge doesn't really build anything like this. So I think it's a great option on the road today. For the price point, for what you're spending for it, the hybrid system seems like it's a pretty good system. There have been some recalls, there have been some issues early on, but I feel pretty safe by buying the new Toyota Camry or even a used one. But just those items in this video to keep an eye on if you're out there shopping for one today, to make sure you get a good one and you're not getting one that's like, oh, what's going on with this thing? So that way you have an idea to be a better informed consumer. To be a really informed consumer, check out our website at wetalkcars.com. We just launched. It's a brand new website. We have 130 some articles on there. We have this new YouTube channel, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, all the places you can find us. So make sure you check out the business website or YouTube channel as well. My stuff mixed up this morning. So it's over here. Website down below. I'll put wetalkcars.com. As always, thanks for watching. I will see you down the road.